outfield, and I am Tater.
I am Justin Guerrera, and I am Tater.
I'm Steven Figueroa, and I am Tater.
Welcome back, everyone, to the We Are Tater podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Freddie. Today, we got a great guest on board, man. We love this guy. It's our boy, Q Holmes, Quentin. He's with Cleveland, but he's been with Tater since we started, man, and his IG is at It's Q Holmes. We got a lot of love for this guy, so we're excited for this conversation because he's truly just a great, genuine person. So I know you guys are going to love this episode.
The Flash. Yeah, he truly really does embody the Tater brand to the fullest extent. If you follow the IG or if you've been on our website, you've definitely seen him on our pictures, our photo shoots. He's
Mr. Suave.
Yeah, our go-to model. But without further ado, Q Holmes.
Yes, sir. I appreciate y'all having me for sure. I definitely appreciate this opportunity to come on, speak with y'all. I mean, it's definitely a blessing to just be here with y'all, man. It's family for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, we're excited to have you, man. It's like you're one of those guys that we truly, really root for every day and always look out for, because without guys like you, we wouldn't be here today. So, I think let's just get right into it, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's talk.
Yeah.
Let's start with,
The first question.
I mean, it's so difficult because Q is one of those guys that we have such a close-knit relationship with, because there's a lot of players out there that you either, we have short conversations with where it's like, oh, this is your bat order. Okay, cool. But like for Q, it's like we spent a lot of time together from the time you visited the shop the first time. I think you were there for 3 or 4 hours, and we just went right around and around. And we just hit it off. And then from the times we did photo shoots together, and when you come visit and see how we're doing, and even when we meet up during spring training. So I don't even know, but this is true, that I don't really know when was the first time, or if I do know, I don't remember the first time you ever had an engagement with Tater, whether it was somebody using the bat or practice, or if you saw us at the field.
Yeah, I remember. I think it was the winter of 2019, or maybe it was after 2018. Maybe it was one of those off seasons where you came down to New York at CJ's spot. Shout out CJ Turn 2 Fitness out in New York City.
The boy.
But you came out to that's the homie. So you came out to visit us at the cage there. You were thinking about signing Jalen.
Mm-hmm.
Came out with a few bats. And we were all there hitting anyway. So he was like, yeah, sure, you can try them out. And I started trying them out, and then it just sounded different. It just felt different off the bat. And I think since that day, I was just like completely bought in. Like, I need Tater bats. And then it just grew even more that I knew I needed it, because like whether it sounds cliche or not, like it just became more than just a bat company. Like, it was just like, I know these people. I got to know y'all. I know how my bats are being made after I took the tour of the facility. I know exactly what type of work ethic and effort y'all put into making these bats, and the work that it takes to do all of this and hold a business and actually be kind to people and not be like wanting to take advantage of the little guy that's coming in there, the younger kids that you could charge extra for their bats, but you don't. So it's just like, once I got to know y'all more and more, know things behind the scenes, it was like Tater became something that I just needed to have a part of my game.
Oh yeah, and we appreciate that, because it's nice that you say that, because we know it, but it's nice to hear it. I mean, we hear it once in a while, but I know you know us more than most, because you've been in the trenches with us when we were trying out different things, using the first gloves,
Figuring out our branding,
yeah,
all that stuff.
and honestly, low key, you almost set the precedent for our brand when you did that photo shoot with Peter Bedox, because we, and I think that was because of you, we had a turning point for our company, and I'm forever grateful for you for that. I know I don't know if I ever told you that personally, but now I have, because without those pictures that you guys did, that kind of like, it really changed us from being like just the overall look of the brand from little guy to like, oh, these guys are legit.
Yeah, something I was gonna say was like, you've been with this for a little bit, and you know, most people know if they've listened to the podcast already. But when we met Q, it was about a year after we got approved, so it's like we've grown together. It's like you've been playing for a couple years, Tater's been around for a couple years, so it's like we've all grown together as people, as players, as a company. So it's like it's awesome because we're all making that trip together.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I think it's been like 3 or 4 years now that we've been working together, and just seeing the evolution of not just the bats, but the clothing, the quality of clothing, and then how the batting gloves have gotten better as well. I remember like the first couple pairs of batting gloves, I was like, yeah, I mean, they look nice, but like they didn't last long at all. So I was like, man, I really want to rep these Tater gloves, but
It's not
they
it.
just weren't
It's
doing
not
it.
yet.
And
Not
then
doing it.
and then they kept coming out with more and more batting gloves. Y'all kept working on it. And I've been using the same pair of batting gloves like all off season, like one pair for the whole off season. So it just goes to show y'all, man. Just it, the more you want something, the more you really want it. You just got to keep working at it. Got to keep trying stuff out. And I'm sure y'all had plenty of failure. You had failures within this process to get from the batting gloves that people wouldn't use to now people are buying the batting gloves more than they're even buying bats sometimes. So definitely just the evolution of the whole company. I mean, the clothing that I could wear the clothing as a lifestyle, not just while I'm working out, but I can go hang out in a Tater hoodie and feel comfortable and feel like I'm still fly. Like it's just crazy to see the evolution of it all, man.
Yeah, I know you're gonna be excited for what we have planned for this year, man. Because this is, I guess you would say, last year was the first big year on the merchandise side of apparel. But this year, spring training, baseball season in general, we're gonna make a big push. I know you're gonna be hyped with all the stuff that we're
A
gonna have
huge
coming.
statement push, that's for sure.
Some more variety.
Yeah, you'll be one of the first to get the box. You already know. But
Yeah.
you know what? I'm sure, and this is something I'm curious about myself. And I always ask all, the last couple guys that we had on, but what was that moment where you figured like baseball was your thing? Like, was it like in high school where you're like, oh, I'm dedicated because I want to be a big leaguer, or was it before that, or was it like during a game, or sitting down with your parents? What was that moment like, if there was one?
I think it would have had to been right before high school. So I was always either catching or playing right field on other people's teams when my dad was coaching in little league. Like I would play shortstop, pitch, like literally whatever I wanted to do. But once I would go play on other teams where my parents weren't coaching, where it was somebody else's dad coaching or whatever, then I would kind of hold a different role on that team. And then I got to this one team, shout out Joe Francisco, New York Steelheads out in Long Island, and he moved me from catching to center field. It was like, why is the fastest guy on the field catching right now? Like, why is our catcher beating guys down the line on ground balls?
Yo.
Like, this shouldn't be happening. So I think it was at that point, once I moved to the outfield, like things really started to turn up. Like I started to see a new athlete within me just emerge completely. I mean, God gave me some amazing abilities to just be able to run around in the outfield like a gazelle sometimes. Like it just feels amazing running down people's fly balls and running for triples in the gap and stealing bases and doing things that most people can't do, or things people dream of doing. So it's just, I think it was right before high school. It really started to take off more and more. And then definitely once I was like freshman year, when high schools were wanting me to come to their school and take tours of the school and check them out. And they were like, yeah, you could play varsity freshman year. I was like, oh, all right, that sounds good. I think I'm go do that. And then once that hit, then it was, what summer team do I got to get on? Then it was, what other summer team do I got to get on? How can I get the most exposure going out of New York? I had to get out the Northeast. I had to go down south to get the most exposure. And then that's when it was really hitting me, like 2013 to 2015, where like I had a huge turn where baseball was just really taking over.
Yeah, and that's yeah, you definitely have that God given ability, but at the same time, you can't. I will say you do put into work. There's a lot of guys out there that don't grind it out or do the right thing or eat healthy. I mean, how many guys really meal prep or cook for themselves and wake up early and work out and do all the right things? I mean, you're one of those guys that do it, because there's a lot of guys who just wait until maybe 2 months before or a month before spring training and start getting ready, and I know you, that's one thing I admire about you as an individual, man, that you have ability to maintain that routine and a true testament to dedicate yourself. But that one thing where did I didn't know you went down south. Where did you go down? Like where'd you play?
Just in the summer, we'd have like the perfect game tournaments,
Okay.
whatever, down in Georgia, down in Florida. I played on like this elite squad prime, which was like a bunch of South Florida guys, but a couple Northeast guys scattered in there. So it was just really like a super team. Like on that elite squad prime team, we probably had, I mean, 10 out of the 13 guys get drafted in like the
Damn.
first 5 rounds.
Yeah, you guys
Like
were
it was
steamrolling
a
teams, huh?
squad. I feel like if anything, low key, everybody might have got drafted. Like it was a crazy squad. Everybody definitely went on to at least play Division I baseball. But like get myself out from behind the plate, like that small thing of changing a position really freed up and just opened up so many more opportunities for me in baseball.
Yeah, I got a question for you since we're talking about travel ball and when
Mm.
you're growing up and whatnot. Because I know we got a lot of kids in the city and in New York that definitely tune into the podcast. So it was like, what was it like growing up in New York playing ball? And then, as a second question to that, some advice for a young buck who's going through it right now, who's trying to make it to the next level or get to that next step. What would you say to him?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I was definitely fortunate enough to get on teams that were traveling down south to play. Because if I was just in those New York tournaments, like I would have got seen a little bit, but there's way more eyes on you down south. The scouts, I think more so now, scouts are moving up more north because of opportunities that guys from my year were able to open up for these guys like Jason Pineda in my year.
Yep,
He was always putting on
the
shows
big
like
homie.
a lot of, yeah, that's family too for sure. Um, a lot of guys from my year that were just able to open up the door for more younger kids in New York, just giving them that opportunity to go out and show themselves. But I think regardless of where you're at, if you're outperforming everybody, if you're outperforming yourself yesterday, you're outperforming everybody else on that field. It doesn't matter where you're at. Somebody's going to see you. Somebody's going to give you that call, give you that shot, say, come down and play with me. But also definitely try to find those right teams. Like if you're one of those dudes that is staying on a club team or staying with people that you've played with your whole life and you feel bad leaving them because you feel like they're family. If you have to move on to that next level, you got to play with a better team. You really just got to go for it. You got to say like, I've left a few teams where I felt like, yeah, that's my family. Those are dudes I grew up with, played with little league, but it comes to a point in baseball, it happens where you just got to part ways with certain people.
Yeah.
Like if you're leveling up, you got to part ways, and you still gonna be friends with them. Like it's no hard feelings. Like I'm still cool with people I played on my little league teams or even on the Steelheads team a while back. Um, but you just gotta be willing to weigh the options. Like, yeah, I'm gonna benefit way more from maybe going playing on a team where I know zero people, but I'm gonna get that exposure and I'm still gonna play at my best rather than staying in New York if I have to and playing with a small team just because I know everybody.
Hmm.
So it's definitely finding ways to. I mean, you're gonna have to be uncomfortable sometimes. For me, it was definitely. I mean, playing on a Long Island team for me was different. I was the only black kid on the team. It was all white kids. So like, for most of the time, there's a few Spanish kids that would hop on every once in a while, pitch, play first, whatever. But for the most part, like you gotta be willing to be in those unfamiliar arenas just so you can get it. If you really love the game, if you really been putting in the work for it, it's all gonna pay off in the end if you take that leap of faith.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of guys got to make that decision, whether it's either baseball or not, because I know we did, and we had to make that decision when we played.
Right.
And those, in the grand scheme of things, they might seem like a really hard decision in the moment, but when you look back on it 2 or 3 years later, it's like you said, you're still homies with all the guys. Might be mad at you for a week or two, but other than that,
If
you just got to
if
keep
they mad
leveling
at
up.
you, they not your homies. If they mad at
Exactly.
you for leaving and for leveling up, they're definitely not your homies. So
Exactly.
that's definitely another reason. Be glad about that. If you see somebody mad, that you being successful, that you doing well, that you happy, that's not your homie. That's number one.
Exactly.
Kind of say
That's a fact.
I couldn't preach that more myself, man. You know, because it's at the end of the day, it's a sacrifice, right? Like I remember when we made that decision to go all in on Tater, because one was I remember going all in on being a ball player, and then that ended, after Tommy John. But like when I came back to the game and had to make that decision, there was a lot of people that didn't really think they would be able to do it, or kind of shrugged it off. But I'm glad that you say it like that, because at the end of the day, you got to be true to yourself in terms of what you really want and desire. Because one, nobody's going to win the trophy for you, and you're not going to get a handout. And if you don't put that work in, you're never gonna make it. But one thing I wanted to ask you was, has there been a moment where you kind of have a tough time, and how do you overcome that? Whether it's mental toughness, whether it's overcoming it with your routine, or what is a rock for you that kind of helps you persist? Because I know it gets hard, because those sacrifices you make as a ball player. You're out in Arizona, everybody is back in New York. There's, like you said, unfamiliar territory, meeting new people, but also like waking up every day, putting in that work, staying consistent. What is something that holds you down?
For sure. I mean, 100% God has been with me through this whole process. And just knowing that he has a plan for each one of us. So looking to my left and my right at what somebody else is doing, or how well they're doing, or how bad they're doing, it doesn't even affect me and what my purpose is and what God has planned for me. So just looking at my situation in the moment, like, okay, I'm doing bad right now, but I know God is working this for something good in my life. I know God is building me up for a moment down the road. I know what I'm suffering now was nothing compared to the glory that God is going to give us down the road. So I just always think about that when I'm in a tough time, and also think about like everything that he's gotten me through already. Like I've already had plenty of low points and tough times in my life where I can easily look back and say, God already brought me through that. So now I can keep moving forward. And I know for a fact it's also a gift, an amazing gift from God, to have the discipline to, even though things don't feel right or not going right within the swing, whatever, day in, day out, still having the discipline to work through my plan, work through my programs, have that same routine, and not change things up if I feel like I might have low energy or whatever it is, but sticking to what it is that I've planned in that routine that's going to set me up for more success. So just being able to stick to it, and just trusting that God is working this for something good in your life. Our lowest points in life always open the door for breakthrough to walk through. And I truly believe that our lowest points in life will open the door for breakthrough to walk through.
Love that. That's awesome, man. Now that we gave people that motivation, let's lighten it up a little bit, because I know you gave me goosebumps, so I love
That's why I love talking to Q, because
yeah,
we can talk about things like this,
and we can be so transparent. One thing, talk about. I want to give us your perspective on that time where we asked you to do the Black Friday photo shoot, and our photographer. We had 3 photographers. So background story. This was one of our biggest Black Friday drops, where we had a bunch of merch, training bats, custom bats. We were going all out, building out a website, product photography, and all. And this was before we met Axum, really.
Mm-hmm.
And we had 2 or 3 photographers that usually help us out.
It's the reason why we met Axum.
Yeah, literally the reason why we met Axum. And these are the folks that are shooting our podcast. But they all canceled on us, literally either the day before or on that same day. So
Kevin had twins.
Twins, yeah. Kevin had 2 kids. Shout out to Kevin. But what were you thinking while I'm trying to take pictures with the camera I didn't know how to use? How funny was that?
I mean, it was a funny situation, but that was when Jason and I were out there, and we were like, we're just gonna enjoy the moment. Like it definitely didn't feel like we had work to do. I think that was the best part about it. Like we were just chilling. We knew we had things to get done, but we knew like it was just still gonna be a fun time. We knew we were still just with our boys, just hanging out, taking pics. So it definitely it made it interesting that it was just you and your brother taking the pictures, but it
We got some
I
good
mean
ones out of
we
there.
had to try. There was some real good ones. That's the thing. Like we knew it would come out good enough. Like it would definitely, we knew it would come out good enough, and we just had to, the commitment that we had to just be there for you guys was like, it just made it easy for us to do whatever. It's like,
Yeah,
yeah, it's not exactly how we thought it would look, but it's good enough. It's getting the job done.
right.
You have any questions for Q? Something you've been thinking
I
about?
just thought about this. I don't know why, but for the listeners, you got signed out of high school, right? Drafted out of high
Yeah,
school. What
yeah.
round? What round?
The second round, 64th pick.
What was that experience like? But
Oof.
also, was there college in your mind too at the same time?
Yeah, yeah. So I was committed to Mississippi State University. I was signed there. Um, I signed there my going into my senior year. Actually, going into my junior year, I signed at Mississippi State. Let's see. The draft was crazy. It was I remember it was exactly a week after my high school graduation too. But I remember we were in like this hotel lobby bar kind of thing, and I had maybe 50 of my friends and family like just around, just chilling. We were just chilling all night, waiting for the draft. Obviously, had it on TV, and just the emotion of like when my name finally got called, and obviously the anticipation leading up to that, and just waiting for my agent to call us and say like, this team offered you this, whatever, whatever. It was just it's something you really just can't explain, especially when it only happens really one time in your life, like at that
Yeah.
magnitude. But I think having all my the people that I had to leave, the people that I couldn't play with anymore, that played on younger travel teams with me, played on other teams, like I had to leave them, move on. I had some of them there with me because that's the type. I mean, it's the type of relationship sports will give you where you'll just be able to be boys with real friends years and years and years down the road. But it was an amazing experience. Once they called my name, you saw my name pop up on the screen. Everybody was jumping around, screaming, yelling. Like it was just
I
a rush
believe
of
it.
emotions.
I believe it.
It's nothing you could really like. I'm gonna send y'all a video. Actually, I got a video from one of my boys, but it's just, I mean, it's just so crazy. Just imagine like up until that moment, just like the happiest moment in your life, and all your close friends are there with you.
Yeah.
I just picture right now who your closest friends are, your family, and how you would feel in that moment when a team is picking you and wanting to get you to the big leagues with them. Like it's a crazy feeling, man. It's definitely something you can't really explain. But it's something that I would never take back. And I'm glad we did have that little get together party, whatever you want to call it. Um, and it's been great. And I'm definitely glad I know I made the right choice in not going to college as well. But important to know that was just a me situation where some other guys out of high school might be better off going to college.
Right.
But I know for the things that God has done in my life to this point, the people I've been able to meet, like I probably wouldn't even know y'all right now if
Yeah.
I'd have went
Yeah,
to
Literally.
college.
sure.
Like we'll never know. That's the beautiful thing. We'll never know. But I know for a fact, and if I didn't even sign with the Indians, maybe I wouldn't have even been at CJ's place. Like
Yeah.
there's so many little things that could have went into it. But man, it was an amazing time, and it's something that I definitely do not regret making the decision.
Who's now you bring up people. Who are the I've never asked this question, so forgive me on formatting or the way I'm presenting it. Who are the people that shape Q Holmes? Like whether growing
Mm,
up, who are your biggest influencers in life?
yeah, I mean, for sure. I had an older brother. I have an older brother. My brother Quincy. He's 3.5 years older. So everything I did growing up was I want to just do what he's doing. I just want to be with him, be around him. I want to play with his friends, which actually helped me a lot, helped me mature way faster than dudes my age, because I was playing baseball, playing football in the street, basketball with kids that's 3-4 years older than me. Um, sorry, but definitely my brother. My parents were huge in bringing me up. They provided me a very comfortable life, I should say, growing up. We definitely didn't have to, my brother and I didn't have to stress for having food on the table, having equipment, having clothing, nothing. We had everything. My parents worked hard. And I think easily my parents and my brother were just great role models for me to work hard and just be dedicated to just showing love to all our people. And the way my mom was with her work and my dad was grinding with the police, doing crazy stuff all over, and my mom having the patience with him to even be the wife of a police officer. If anybody knows a police officer, you know how stressful that could be. Um, but yeah, it was definitely my parents, my brother, and then my high school coach, Nick Melito. He definitely allowed me to I mean, just have me come play varsity freshman year. Something that I don't know if maybe one other person before me did it at that school, and I don't know if anybody's ever done it after me. But just the fact that I had that opportunity to change my whole high school career definitely changed how I attacked the rest of my life. I mean, and then like we talked about before, my summer coach Joe Francisco that moved me into the outfield. That just shifted who I am as a baseball player tremendously. I mean, just the aggressiveness on the base paths and the type of outfield they're hitting, whatever it is. Like it was just a whole different beast once I got onto that team. Once I got to the outfield, so I would say those five people definitely played a huge role in what's been going on in my life.
That's great, man. I love to hear it because we're big on family, and I think that's kind of like why we relate so much. Because it's just like when I think we got raised in a similar way, and you kind of when we met, I think we hit it off for that reason, right? And that's why even with Jason, the same way. But I know that night you talked about with your friends and stuff about getting drafted. Is that your favorite baseball moment, or is there a different moment where you were overcome with feeling or pride or something that happened that you just like I love this?
I would have to say that, and between that and my first home run in pro ball, it was on my birthday, and my parents were still out here in Arizona.
Oh, juiced up. I want to hear this.
Yeah, so my parents were at the game. They were like two of the only 10 people in the stands because you know how the AZL games are. So it was quiet in the stadium. We're playing in the Goodyear Stadium, so you could hear the loud crack, and you could hear just my parents screaming in the stands, and like I could only hear them once I touched home plate, like afterwards. When I was rounding the bases, like couldn't hear anything. It's just the wind going. Like it was an amazing feeling. Like definitely felt like the ball didn't even touch my bat. Like it just went. I think that is definitely up there. And I mean, I've had a few like game-ending catches or like diving plays that like really were amazing, but definitely having my parents there for my first home run was pretty crazy for sure.
I see you gliding around those bases, man.
Yeah, yeah,
Flying.
there was no type of trot. It was like
2 seconds.
75%
home to home.
sprint. Like I was moving a little bit for sure.
Oh, I love it. Love it. What's tell the people about I don't think we ever talked about this, but like the process of figuring out what the bat was like. What was that, right? The QH model for you. What was that the QH 70 QH 733?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, there was definitely a lot of just trying everything out. Just you just got to see what works. I mean, I tried I can't remember what bat it was with the huge handle, but it was flared out. So I was like, okay, I kind of like it, but this handle just seems a little big. And then it was like a mix of the barrel from the Albert Pujols model. And I was like, okay, I really like this one too, but it feels a little too end heavy for me. And then it's just that was also what I love. Like if any hitter could relate to what I'm about to say, it's like when you go up to the plate with a bat that you don't really like, it's so much harder to even focus on hitting the ball. Like you're just
Absolutely.
thinking
Yeah.
about so many other things. You're just distracted by everything. But like once you know that this bat is made for me, this is something that literally feels amazing in my hands. Like I know that this bat is right for me. I know that I'm about to smack something because I have this bat. Like it just changed your whole mindset toward the situation, and that's what I loved about working with y'all. Was just like you could just feel that. You could just go into it knowing like regardless of how my swing's feeling, I could forget about all of that and just be like, this bat is money. Like I feel so much better just looking at this beautiful bat right now. Like
Yeah.
it just changed. And I wish more guys were able to experience that. Like having being able to be comfortable with a bat is just it's just a different feeling. And there's certain bats where like yeah, I'm kind of comfortable with it. I could use it a little bit, but to have a bat that like you made and every inch of it is exactly how you want it, that's when it really changes the game. It changes how you attack every day. Like how I go to practice every day is different, knowing like I don't have to worry about feeling weird with the bat because it feels exactly how I want it to.
Yeah, the consistency. Yeah, and finding the
Yeah.
right bat is huge. I mean, it's something where a lot of I feel like the guys that jump around from bat to bat to bat, they struggle at the plate a little bit more because they're feeling uncomfortable, and that's a tough spot to be in. It's like wearing the shirt that you know it like looks kind of good, but like you're still tugging it from one side because it looks a little funny. But you're one of the first guys that we have using the gloves at the professional level. I think
Mhm.
it was your
Yep.
first glove this past year or was it 2020? I don't even remember now. Was it last year
I
or the
think it
year
was
prior?
2020.
2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was no, no. It might have been like the spring
Because you
of
used an infield
2021.
trainer. We had an infield trainer that you used to use, I think, right? Or
Yeah.
am I confused? Or was that for the photo shoot? I can't remember.
Photo
Yeah, just
shoot.
for the
Photo
shoot.
shoot.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Jason had the
Jason had
glove,
it,
and then
yeah.
just for the photo shoot, just for the photo shoot, I used the trainer, and then this spring I had one. Um, I mean, just the customization of it obviously is amazing, and then the new one I got in the middle of last season, I'm definitely getting close to it being game ready. I gotta take out the pad, the pad that's like right in between
The heel.
the thumb and the pinky at the bottom.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm taking that pad out. Outfielders, we don't need that pad. It just it just doesn't allow you to close the glove the same way. So once I take that out, it's game ready.
I can't
Um,
wait. Yeah,
but yeah,
because
I mean, like the leather is just it's Rawlings like it's amazing. It's definitely, I don't feel like it's a step down from having a Rawlings or anything. Like I'm confident in this glove being something I can use every day. Even though I probably will only use it like at home just so I can not wear it down too much. Because I mean, using a glove 160 games out a year, like it's gonna get run down.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And I'm glad you had that first outfield glove, the Carolina blue one or the sky blue one with
yeah,
the navy,
yeah,
because I don't know if you remember, but we had a little mix up on that,
Mhm.
right? There's a little, I would say, malfunction
Yeah.
is the easiest way to
Best
describe
term
it,
to use for it. Yeah.
because
Mhm.
nothing crazy happened in terms of like the glove breaking and something like that happened. But we're lucky that we had someone like you using the glove and giving us that valuable insight when something like that and feeling comfortable with us to tell us when something like that happens, right? I think it was like a
Yeah.
little mix up in the lace hole ripped a little bit. And you hit us up right away,
Yeah.
like, yo, this happened. But the great thing about it is we were able to kind of work through it, figure it out, and then provide you with something that's better that you're gonna eventually, game it this year, which is we're happy to hear,
Yeah, because most guys they don't have that confidence level, or they don't even want to put that effort level in trying to give us insight to make us better, right? Because we could, it's like us saying, "Hey, Q, you need to swing a heavy bat and a short bat," or so on and so forth, and giving you recommendations the same way that you give them to us back. So I'm glad we have that kind of relationship because we don't have, we have that relationship with a lot of key guys, and that's definitely one of the big reasons why I feel like you're family to me. But I know we have that relationship where like you can say, "Hey, Freddie, you need to change this," or "Hey, this bat is this," or "Hey, you know what you need to do," or "You know what direction you guys need to
Mhm.
go." It's like those types of conversations. I mean, who else better to have them with but somebody who knows the game, who knows the brand, who knows the future of baseball, the culture, right? Like I feel like, and referring back to like those photography pictures you took with Peter, I think you helped set a Tater culture with those pics, like no doubt in my mind
Hell
because
yeah, yep.
you know how many people hit us up and like, "Yo, who's this Q Holmes guy?" Or people were like kind of jealous, like, "Yo, you guys did a photo shoot with Q Holmes." Like, actually, no, he did it for us, and I love these pictures. Like, and now we have your banner with the synonymous picture you holding the bats,
Yep.
like international. We have banners in
Yeah.
PR, DR, Florida, California, Arizona, Connecticut, New York, even in CJ Spot, right? The only banner that hangs up
Mhm.
at CJ
Yep.
Spot is a Tater,
Yep.
and it's you. But do you have any questions for us?
Nah, not yet. I think just on that point you just said, like it's definitely been easy for me to have that communication with y'all and to do whatever photo shoot, whatever it is that y'all need, just knowing that like it's not even about me, like it's bigger than me. It's if I know I'm helping out somebody down the road by giving that feedback, by taking the photos, whatever it is, giving them a good look, I know that I'm helping y'all out. Like that's really what does it for me. Like that's what gives me the motivation to go through it, to reach out to y'all and be like, yeah, we might need to work on this or this happened, blah blah blah. It's definitely just knowing that like it's helping somebody else down the road. Like I know it's bigger than me with whatever I'm doing with baseball, with whatever I'm doing in life. I know that it's bigger than me and it's gonna help somebody else down the road. So having that open communication with myself and then with y'all is been important for me for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about culture, like baseball culture, because in one of our episodes we brought up the Kong logo and how it's like synonymous with culture and how things are changing with baseball. And this is one of the reasons why we're so happy to have you with us is because you play like you want to play, right? Like you're Q Holmes, you're not trying to be anyone else. And we all know baseball culture is shifting for the better, in my opinion,
Right, right.
because guys are playing with more swag. I guess the question that I want to ask you is, let me think about it, how to word it, but like, what makes you feel? What are the reasons why you play the way you play? Right, like baseball is sometimes frowned upon when you do some certain things. Like when you're just being you, what are those reasons why you do that?
Yeah, I think it plays into um, being one of the few. I mean, there's not a lot of black men in the game of baseball. That's number one. So having to being able to represent my culture is definitely part of it. But knowing that I represent so many other things, knowing that I'm one of God's representatives out there on that field, whatever it is, being a good teammate, giving it my all on that field, knowing that there's someone in that stands that's seeing me play for the first time, and I want them to remember me. I want them to know that this guy came to play. This guy um, doesn't give up at bats or doesn't give away outs on the field. Like this guy came to play. And I think it's just me being able to, like I said earlier, just pass it on to the next person. Like having that young kid that's never really played baseball, doesn't really like baseball, or even if it's an adult, like just somebody that is energized and feels more passionate about whatever it is they're doing in their life after watching me play baseball. That's what gives me joy. That's what really keeps me going out there and allows me to have that energy when I run out on that field and lace up those cleats.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's what you call a true leader, man. I think, and that's what I see in you. Just speaking candidly, and that's actually the reason why I asked who kind of molded Q Holmes because it's very difficult for a kid to get signed out of high school and be so mature in the way that you are. That not only can you hold true testament to your craft, but also lead others and guide others into being better versions of themselves. And I think that's key right there before all above all else, right? So that's what I have for you. I know you have a crazy schedule, but if you have another question, you got while we have Q on, or do you want to?
Let's talk real quick about the shirt you're wearing, bro. I know you got some stuff going on that you're doing that you're helping out fundraising. So tell
Yeah,
tell tell the
yeah.
listeners about some things that you're doing.
So myself and my old teammate Billy Wilson, he used to play with the Indians. Just retired recently. Had a kid. He's now teaching psychology actually at his old high school. And
He swung Tater for a little bit.
Yep.
yeah, he had a few taters. Yeah, he did. I tried to get everybody. I tried to get everybody on it. That's the beautiful thing about being teammates with somebody. I mean, you see somebody swinging the bat and you hear it, and then you're like, oh, like what's that? And you're like, yo,
The new
this is
wave.
that good. It's that good stuff right here. But yeah, so we started our nonprofit organization, which is called EON, which is Equal Opportunity Network, and it's really just providing camps and clinics, quality teaching and sports. Because for anybody listening to this podcast, you know how impactful sports, a good healthy sports environment can be in your life. Like if you're on a team that's full of positive energy, a winning team, or even if it's not a winning team, but a team that builds each other up and holds each other accountable, that type of team environment, it does something for your soul. It does something good for you as a person. So just providing kids with those opportunities that may not have had those opportunities. I know growing up, I was, like I was talking about earlier, I had access to a lot of good teams, a lot of quality environments, and not a lot of young kids these days in the low income communities have that opportunity. So we do these free camps and clinics, and just give them an opportunity. We have a lot of pro guys that'll come out. I mean, obviously I'll be there. We have a camp coming up next weekend in Phoenix, March 5th, where there'll be a few, probably about 15 minor league and major league players there coaching these kids. It's a free for all the kids, and all of my boys are just gonna be volunteering to come out and coach, because it's just amazing to give back what any knowledge that we have about the game, about the love for the game, and being able to share that with young kids that are passionate about learning and want to be in that environment. It's just something that really, really fills our hearts. So we've been working on that. We've been doing a t-shirt fundraiser for the month of February to be able to put on these camps, to be able to fund all of these. And another part of what we do at the camps is the teaching of all the baseball stuff, but also what these kids do off the field plays a huge part, because what we're doing on the field is only a small percentage of our lives and of our days. So providing them with healthy snack options that they can try to get more in contact with when they're off the field, and definitely take home with them for sure. But it's just it's an all around thing. We definitely want to impact the lives of these young kids that not only don't have the opportunity to go to quality camps and clinics. I know growing up, if I was going to some really good camps, they cost us some money. So providing these kids with free camps with quality coaching is just, I think it's going to be a game changer for this environment, this community. And it's called Eon. Our website is eonimpact.org. That's EONIMPACT.org. Our Instagram is Eon Impact, and we're just trying to help grow our community, help impact the youth, and just any way we're allowed to.
Love it. And I know you're going to go off and you're going to continue to do great things, and we have your back, just as if we're your brothers. So, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Hopefully I can make it out to that, depending on the scheduling with spring training and everything that's going on right now. But man, I really appreciate you giving us your time. If anyone, like I say typically on the podcast, we do this to give people genuine feedback and content to consume. Go follow Q Holmes. If you have a son or daughter that needs someone to look up to, Q Holmes is definitely one of those guys. And if you felt motivation, or you got something positive out of this podcast, feel free to share it to somebody that may need to hear it, and that would make an impact on their lives. Q, thanks again for coming on to the podcast. Totally appreciate you, and I can't wait to meet up with you at spring training.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, guys. I definitely appreciate the time, and I hope these words will speak to someone today. Whoever's hearing this, I hope you gain something from this conversation. I hope you go on to do what you believe in your heart is right for you. So good luck to everybody that's hearing this.
Yeah,
appreciate you, dog.
Have a great day, bro.
All right. Peace and love.
Talk to you, bro.